Check the vibes. My name is Turn Up Vegan, and I'm super excited to be right here with you guys. I'm also excited to share with you guys one of my new favorite recipes. So recently I shared a recipe on Pinterest, on Instagram, and also on TikTok, and it went super viral. Well, I mean, a couple million people saw it between the two platforms. But what's dope about it is I use one of my favorite ingredients, which is lion's mane. So the recipe I made, again, is maple garlic scrimpies, but we didn't use no Skrimpz. We use lion's mane. So main question I got in all of those platforms was, what is lion's mane? Lion's mane is a mushroom, a fluffy, beautiful mushroom. And the reason why they call it lion's mane, because this one not particular or not so much, but most of them have like these cool hairs that grow on them that almost look like a lion's mane. I almost have a lion's mane too, you know what I mean? Anyway, back to the lion's mane. So the next question I get a lot is like, where do I find lion's mane? I can't find it in my city. It can be a struggle for me to find it sometime. The tips is try all your specialty stores, try the farmer's market, and if that don't work, there's companies out there that sells kits that allow you to grow your own at home. So I have a kit from a company called North Spore. I have a link in my bio, so if you go to any of my platforms, you'll find this link. You can buy this kit, comes to your home, spray it with water, real simple. In about 8-9 days, you'll have your first batch. The cool thing about it is once you pull and harvest that first batch, you can spray the log again, and you might get a second batch, and you may even get a third batch. So that is the best way for me to use and purchase lion's mane, because the kit is normally around 20 bucks and I'll get 3 maybe batches. And so do the math on it, that's 3 different meals, lion's mane. The other thing is people always talk about the health benefits of lion's manes. I never really get into it. I'd rather you research and you learn for yourself, but there are a lot of health benefits when it comes to the mental. So let's get into cooking some lion's mane. So before I show you how I start to break down the lion's mane so it resembles shrimp, I want to tell you why I enjoy lion's mane so much. Some of the mushrooms, you have to have a technique to cook them to make sure you get all the water out and making sure that they're not as chewy. Most mushrooms to me are too chewy, and you can tell they're mushrooms in food that you eat. Lion's mane is a little different. Once you cook down and get the water out, it doesn't have that chewy taste to it. Also, it takes on any flavor that you add to it. We're barely scratching the surface when it comes to lion's mane. There's not many recipes out there, so this is something I'm gonna be experimenting with a lot more. Another thing that's awesome or unique about lion's mane is the smell. It kind of has like a sea smell, which is perfect if you're gonna make fish, shrimp, if you're gonna make crab cakes, anything that's, you want to kind of make vegan that is seafood. I think this is a good option. Recently, I made some loaded nachos with lion's mane, and we gave it that corn asada taste to it, and it worked real well. So very versatile mushroom, and I think this is going to be something that we'll see a lot of in the near future. So let's get into the recipe. Let me share a quick tip with you. One thing I really learned about the lion's mane mushroom, you shouldn't cut it with a knife. You should peel it apart very slowly. See, it comes apart perfectly. And to create that little shrimp vibe, you just pull them apart. Look at that. So instead of cutting lion's mane, I highly recommend to just peel them apart. A lot of times people ask me, should I clean them? With my kids, they're grown at home in a controlled environment, so I really don't feel a need to clean them. If you do get lion's mane that needs to be cleaned, you don't want to clean them with water, because they will soak up all the water and it's going to affect the way that they cook. So you want to kind of just pat it with a napkin or some type of cloth to kind of clean it, and then just let it maybe sit for a little bit to dry. But you don't want to get too much water on the mushroom, because it will soak it in. So pulling them apart, already have a good amount of them ready to go. Look at that, almost look like a little shrimp, right? All right, so I have all my lion's mane peeled apart in this bowl, ready to go on to the next step. And the next step will be to put the lion's mane right into a wet batter and a dry batter. For the wet batter, I have flour, which you can definitely play around with that. Some people want to use gluten-free flour, but I basically have flour, garlic, salt and pepper for the wet batter. And for the dry batter, I have flour. I use panko, so 50%, well, half a cup of flour and then a full cup of panko. The panko will really give it that crunch, and I like crunchiness. Especially when we pour the maple garlic sauce on the lion's mane. We want them to keep that crunch consistency, and so that's what the panko would do for the lion's mane. And also there's some smoked paprika in there, and that's our dry batter. So let's take one of the lion's mane. I typically use a little thong or whatever you call these, and dip it in the wet batter. Roll it in there real nice. And then I'll take this and put it right into the dry batter. And so with the dry batter, I try to keep my hands very clean. So in some cases I'll wear gloves, but you never want to switch hands back and forth. One hand for the wet batter and then the other hand for the dry batter. This way you can do it a lot cleaner and faster. So after I rub it through the dry batter, there you have it. So this is ready. Our next step is we're gonna make our maple garlic sauce, and then we're gonna take the lion's mane, and there's different things you can do. You can either fry them. I typically would fry them in grapeseed oil. If you want to stay away from frying, you can also air fry them. Just make sure to spray the lion's mane mushrooms or the Skrimpz with a little bit of oil if you air fry them, but there's different ways you can cook them, whatever works best for you. All right, now we're about to make our maple garlic glaze that's gonna go on the Skrimpz and just change them up to a whole nother level, you know what I mean? Anyway, so we're gonna start off with a half a cup of maple syrup. The next ingredient is going to be a quarter cup of liquid aminos. Liquid aminos is a good substitute for soy sauce. So if you don't have soy sauce or liquid aminos, you can use soy sauce. And then next we're gonna add 1.5 tablespoons of garlic. Then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of apple vinegar cider. And this is my secret ingredient. I put this on a lot of recipes, and it's chili oil. Now there's different chili oils out there. I know that Trader Joe's sells a chili oil crunch, which I enjoy. So definitely find out which one fits best for you. And then our next step we're gonna mix up the maple garlic glaze. Then we're gonna go ahead and cook the lion's mane. We're gonna mix them up together, and then we're ready to rock. All right, let's mix this up. I wish you guys could smell this, but you will smell this when you make this at home. This smells incredible. So this is going to take the lion's mane Skrimpz to the next level. All right, check the vibes. Now that we have our maple garlic sauce ready, I didn't want you guys to wait, so I already had the Skrimpz ready to go. So I want you guys to understand how crispy. You hear that? This is the main reason why I use panko in the dry batter, because I really want it to be crispy, and I really don't want the Skrimpz to get soggy when I add the sauce. So from here, I'm gonna add our beautiful Skrimpz to a nice bowl. And I'm gonna pour, I bought 12 in here, and I'm gonna pour about 1/4 cup of the maple garlic glaze in there. And then from there, we're gonna shake it up a little bit. Oh my, I gotta show you guys this up close. All right, guys, we are all done. I'm gonna add a little bit of fresh parsley on top, give it a beautiful color. but also advance the flavor. So there you go. We have our maple garlic vegan Skrimpz. No scrimp. It wouldn't be right unless I take a bite of it, right? Let's go. That crunch is just crazy good. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. Thanks for watching the video. You can always find me on any platform. Just Turn Up Vegan, Turn Up Like the Vegetable Vegan. And I'm here to support you guys any way I can. Big shout out to Afro Vegan for throwing this virtual conference, and thank you for having me. I wish you guys the best. Make sure, enjoy yourselves. Peace.